Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. So, in between episodes I had a brief look at my gear and I noticed that my helmet was white, just a low-level thingamajig. So I went shopping a little bit, so we now have a helmet with a bit more armor and some extra physique on it. Similarly for pants, a little bit of extra health and movement speed, what we could get from them now. And we can actually buy shoulder pads, so I managed to grab these little ones as well. And our amulets, we used to be wearing a bag of salt that reduced damage taken from ethereals by 5%, but figured some active health regen was a better deal to grab. So we're all set up in terms of gear. Also just boosted my cunning a little bit, and I had a look. There's some really nice daggers you can get. There's these puppies. 40% armor piercing. That sounds like a very good deal. Especially against more tougher, more heavily armored enemies. We just slice through them and just ignore their armor. So I think that's what I'm gonna gravitate towards in terms of weapons. Very fast, very high armor piercing. So it's gonna be the daggers. And not to be confused with the swords, which have a lower armor piercing and still very fast attack speeds. Or, well, these cleaver type things, they have even lower armor piercing and they only have fast attacks. So they're slightly slower than these daggers. And the knives, they are also very fast, but they don't have any armor piercing. And that's because they're basically caster weapons. There's some really nice ones in there. For example, this one. I just noticed it. I can't afford it. It's just really expensive this early. But control target's mind for 1.5 seconds and a 5% chance to confuse targets for 2 seconds. So this is just perfect for casting, for just mind controlling enemies and just turning the enemies against each other. It's a playstyle I generally really like, but with this build we're just gonna go for just stabby daggers. And that's it. And also realize that we haven't spent all of our devotion points. Maybe we have 2 unspent points. So let's rectify that as well. So first point we spent was here on the crossroads to get our order up. And eventually I want to get the assassin, because, well, assassin. And chance on crit we get blades of Wrath. Well, they're blades, so we must have them. Here we got the assassin's mark. That also seems relatively useful, and bonus to pierce damage and bleeding damage is right up our alley. And we also get some nice bonuses to it. Then we have a lion here that has some defensive bonuses, some health, some defenses, and some pet health. Get some extra spirit and some health. And some more damage and pet damage. So this seems very useful. If you're going to go for a pet build, this is a very nice early one to grab. A tortoise, I got a suspicion this one is linked to shields. 100% chance at 40% health. Extra damage absorption. But yeah. The fact that it boosts shields makes it less of a match. Got the crane over here. Physique and spirits, poison and acids, less spirit requirements for all weapons, which, again, not really up our alley. So we're gonna grab the assassin's blade, and we're just gonna max this out, and then we move on to the next one. So with that, let's actually get some monsters buried and in the ground. We need to get towards Burwich, so that's what we're gonna look for. I received a question if I was gonna play this in veteran mode at some point, and the answer is yes. Just like in my previous playthrough, at some point I switched over to veteran mode, basically because I discovered you could do that mid-session. And actually, I have an unrecorded or an unreleased alternative first episode for this playthrough. That I actually started on veteran mode. It was my intention to start a veteran mode from the beginning. But I discovered that you start out... Oh, there's a heart here. You start out with no healing potions, with no gear. And the unique enemies they throw at you very early on, they're just not fun to play against if you're not playing or if you're playing on veteran mode at least, I died and I was just running around away from certain mobs for half of the episode, and it didn't feel fun.
Can't do that yet.
So my plan is, by the time I basically just have all yellows and a bunch of green items, and I'm feeling comfortable, and no, basically the game starts to feel like a cookie cutter. That's the point where I'm gonna switch over to veteran mode to basically add the difficulty and the challenge back into the game. But if you've seen my previous playthrough with the Conjurer, you know that veteran mode really does make the game more difficult. It's there's gonna be more elite enemies, all enemies are tougher. You get better rewards, that's for sure, but the game as a whole will be tougher. And as such, I would like to prepare for that for a little bit instead of just jumping in. Because just seeing me die twice per episode is probably not the best viewing experience either. And from a playthrough perspective, it doesn't feel fun either. So that's my thoughts on veteran mode. I will add it, but just at a later date. Probably somewhere through our playthrough of Act 1. So that's somewhere in the next dozen episodes, I think. For example, I'm currently getting into I think I've got a decent setup going now. Got gear in all the slots, reasonably protected, doing some decent damage. Life bar is moving in when I'm fighting very large groups of enemies, but when I'm not, it feels relatively safe. Hey, there's a unique one here. Narnach the Swifts. Let's take out some of the add-ons, and then all we have left is the boss. So, well, maybe the point of switching to veteran mode is closer than I was myself thinking as well. Because that battle with that unique, it wasn't pretty challenging, to be honest. If you contrast that with the unique zombie in the first battle, or in the first episode, it was a bit more challenging. So, let's see. We leveled up. Let's spend some points. So, 1 point in here. That unlocks us a lot of things. Oh, from the top to the bottom. Nidala's Hidden Hand. Let's see. Cool effectiveness of poisons during the Age of Unreason, which are combined with the foul toxins which other Nightblade techniques allow to prevent battle against superior numbers. Modifies Belgovian Shears, Amaras's Quick Cuts, and Wielding Death. So this is all the chance-based attacks, which currently has its maximum charge, so it's basically going to be at maximum effectiveness. Though, probably once I've got the next 2 skills at level 5, then this is going to be even more effective. Until then, it just adds a bit, but let's put 1 point in. It seems useful. So here we've got Frenetic Throw, which is you can only put 1 point in it, and it completely modifies how the Phantasmal Blades work. So it reduces the weapon damage by half. It reduces crit damage. The total damage is modified by negative 75%. So it only does 1/4 of the total damage. On the other hand, 45% of the piercing damage is converted to vitality damage, which of course is a different type of damage. So it will be resisted rather than working against armor. So on the whole, that's probably a bonus. 100% cooldown reduction. So that means the cooldown is going to disappear. It means you can just chain cast Phantasmal Blades. And it's going to cost half of the energy. But the thing is, you can keep throwing them, making them Basically, you could make it into a primary skill then, or a right mouse button skill, instead of having it as a extra skill that you throw once every 3 seconds. So interesting, but I'm not going to go for a pure Phantasmal Blades build. So I think I'm just going to keep the Phantasmal Blades as they are, just as a very powerful skill that I use against specific enemies rather than all the freaking time. Because I just want to use my normal attack, of course. Let's see, Shadow Strike. That's a teleportation attack. That seems useful. Seems very useful. So let's keep this in mind. I've got 1 point to spend and we got a couple to review. So we again we have a skill, a passive that we can put a single point into that completely modifies how the base skill works. In this case, it's a modifier for pneumatic burst, and the recharge loses 5 seconds, so it recharges quicker. So rather than recharging every 10 seconds, it recharges every 5 seconds. The thing is, and it increases the health regeneration. Wait, where's the downside? I think this used to have a downside where it also reduced the duration on top of the recharge, but from the looks of it, it's just a pure bonus. Cool. Alright. And lastly, we have Phantasmal Armor, which gives us energy absorbed from enemy spells, so that helps with just keeping our energy filled up. Extra armor, pierce resistance, reduced freeze duration, so that's just defensive. If you get frozen, it will take less. And we have a chance of energy leech retaliation. Okay, this is probably going to be nice at some point, but for now I'm not completely wowed by it. So let's go with Shadow Strike, since that does add a new skill, which is going to be pretty epic. Let's see, this has a cooldown, doesn't it? Yeah, 3.8 second recharge. So let's put it up here. Shadow Strike. Let's look for some targets that we can Shadow Strike against. Let's see. Hey, I found another portal. So that's pretty cool.
Do that yet.
It's pretty long cooldown actually, but it works pretty darn well. I like it. And it adds quite some damage on top. Oh, and you can also use it against crates and things, so it's actually good for just approaching things at a distance. And we claim the Foggy Bank waypoint. Let's see. Let's kill that overmind here. Yep. Keep our pneumatic burst up, of course. And you teleport to you. Okay. Take out the shaman. Hey, necklace. I think we were looking for necklaces. Yes, 2 out of 3. Let's see. What's down here? Probably more slimy slith. Wait, we've been here before. Right. So there's no point in going in there. Ooh, this is very nice for when you're surrounded. So teleportation does allow you to ignore obstacles. But they didn't drop any amulets. which we need. Let's just muck about in the area, look for more Sliff, and kill him. You're not a Sliff. You're not a Sliff either. Oh, let's keep our pneumatic burst up, because it's also movement speed buff. Yeah. Okay, you, and then shimmy, boom. Assassinate. Here, Sliffy, Sliffy, Sliffy. Come out, wherever you are. Come out, so I can kill you. I think I need to find a better lure. Doesn't really sound like a good deal for them. Okay, so another camp. Another lack of amulet. Bunch of bugs. In a battered skull. Ooh, this was a nice stash. 2 green items? Yes, please. Let's have a look. Okay, so an effigy. That's nice if you're a cultist or a child. Not really useful for a proud and fierce warrior like myself. Isaac's Spolders of Balanced Steel. I say this is a win. It just has so many things on it, it has to be a win. But in all fairness, pierce damage is actually good because that's a lot of the damage we deal. Extra physique, extra cunning, extra health, pierce resistance and pierce retaliation. So whenever we get hit, we retaliate with pierce damage, which get amplified on top of everything else. And let's see, granted skill, Ring of Steel, which I think is actually one of my native skills as well. 2% chance when hit by melee attacks. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of phantasmal blades encircle you at lethal speed, cutting down adjacent foes. So this is a defensive AoE attack that does a bunch of piercing damage and stuns as well. So this is very nice and defensive. I like it. Way better than plus 6% electrocute damage. We don't even deal electrocute damage. Let's see, we don't want a crossbow, we don't want a gun, we don't want a boots. Extra energy and extra physique. Well, I don't really have energy problems, so that's not really needed. We don't use access. And just merge all the other things together. Oh. Milton Hart. Oh, we actually have to talk with Sybil in town. She was looking for Milton. There's another uprooted tree stump. So that's one of the nice things about this game. There are nice hidden things, hidden secrets, so to say. If you go out of your way, most of the time you will be rewarded for your efforts. Right. A whole bunch of these guys. Has to be something in here to... Oh, that's a large one. Here, I have a dagger. One of you has to have an amulet. Just teleport to you. Another one. Nope. I think they all collectively missed out on their amulet day. Or whenever it is that Slith get their amulets. But they keep crawling out of the floor, that's good though. Ooh, that was the blade, the Ring of Steel that burst out. It does look properly bladey. It's all those wicked spikes. Yes, backstab, a jug. Because why not? So, hey, there's a sleeve necklace. That's the one we wanted. Thank you. 3 out of 3. So, a sacrificial knife. Ooh, +1 to Phantom Small Blades. Replaces the poison bolt thing we got. Let's see. It's a percentage bonus to chaos damage, frostburn damage. Oh, it's a raw damage bonus for our offhand. We can't equip it. Oh, need more spirit for it. We're not gonna use it. Also, yeah. So we need to go back up there. Go back to the guys and give them their amulets. Collect our rewards. Then we go to town. And we have a talk with Sybilheart. And tell her that her brother unfortunately won't be making it home in time for dinner. Unless the dinner, of course, consists of brains. So, here you go. And thank you for the quest rewards. So, what did we get? We got a ring here. Ooh, green ring. 10% extra damage to Beastkin. 1.2 energy regenerated per second. Increases energy regen and 10% elemental resistance. That's not a bad defensive amulet, I suppose. It's probably a nice improvement over the one we got on our right hand finger currently. It only does 1 to 5 lightning damage as a bonus, so we lose a little bit of damage. But it's not like lightning is a type that we do a lot of. See, it only gets just added on top. Was that this one? Yes. Okay. So, nice thing is we now have some extra resistances. And that's one of the things that in my previous playthrough I didn't pay a lot of attention to, and that I probably should be paying more attention to. Resistances. They help you stay alive, and especially with this being a pure melee build, we need to stay alive. So, we can just sell our things over here. All the things, get more money. And that's it. We can make a town portal, have a chat with Sybil, see what she has for us. And then I think next episode we're gonna switch to veteran mode. It's also you. I felt vindicated, righteous from killing all the monsters. That's what he wants to hear. And since he's the one paying, always tell him what he wants to hear. Happy customer is a customer that keeps on paying and giving you more quests. So unfortunately your brother was dead, miss. Well, we got some reputation and we got a ring. Another ring. Oh, actually, it's not even a ring. It's an amulet. Extra health and extra health regen. This is pretty sweet. Too bad I bought the previous one, but well. Why am I holding on to this one? It's not an increase in damage, so I might as well switch out of the old one. Good. We have a little bit of cash again. And with that, I'm gonna end this episode. So thank you very much for watching. And next episode, gonna try my hands at veteran mode. See how that goes. If it's gonna be, you know, dying 3 times, 5 times in an episode, then that might be a hint to maybe hold off on veteran mode. But for now it feels like things are easy enough that veteran mode is gonna boost the challenge level to interesting levels. So with that, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.